What it do, baby? It's your boy, Mr. Prophytes Be Like, here on the Prophytes Be Like podcast, episode 42. What it do, episode 42. Today we got brother Lathon Ferguson. He's the area executive director of St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. How you doing, Lathon?
I'm good. I'm good. And yourself?
I'm good, brother. I appreciate you. Appreciate you joining me, man. We about to talk about a good cause, and I can't wait for the people to hear about it. So tell us a little bit about you, Lathan. Your org, when you cross, all of that.
Got you. So, well, I'll start off with I belong to the greatest fraternity on the earth, right? Member of Alpha Phi Fraternity Incorporated, Cross Spring '04. I'm an Ace Club. So yeah, next year I celebrate 20 years in the organization.
Damn, really? I
Yeah,
guess that is 20 years.
yeah, April
That's
3rd,
crazy, man. Don't that
2024, 20 years.
you've been putting in that work for 20 years, bro.
Yeah, man.
More power to you. More power to you, dog, for real. I ain't gonna tell you where I was in '04 because you're really gonna be like, oh, you ain't had to say that. When I crossed you, I was about to end my sixth grade year. So
Wow.
yeah,
Man,
dog.
way to make
It's
me feel. I don't even say, oh, season.
season, just a little bit, sprinkle a
Just a
little
little bit,
season
just
on
a
it.
little bit.
Yeah, man. No, I appreciate you for um stopping in to talk to me. I remember the first time we met. I don't know if you remember this, but I remember in college we had our when you were with Inroads and you came to speak with some students there. So that was like my first initial conversation with you. And you've been cool ever since. So now we here. So
Right. Man, I
uh
appreciate it. So now, was that when I did a regular one or when I did Alpha Week? Because I spoke a couple of times at Mizzou.
I think the first time was the regular one, and then
Okay.
we found out you were an alpha, and then we also had you come back for Alpha Week.
Got you. Got
Yeah,
you.
yeah, that's what it was, man. So,
Yep.
welcome, man. Welcome to the podcast.
Man, I
Um,
appreciate it. I've been
yeah.
following from afar. So, I feel honored right now. I have made it.
You got it, dog. You got it, dog. So no, tell me a little bit about uh, how you ended up with St. Jude and why St. Jude.
So, I won't bore you with my career history, right? Because I've been all over the map, but I will say when I after I left corporate America and start doing nonprofit leadership from an executive standpoint, St. Jude was one that found me. I wasn't looking at the time, but when it found me, and then I did my research, and I always knew St. Jude on the surface. I knew the commercials and I knew, what you saw, but I never really taken a look under the hood per se to see, what does it truly mean, not just for the world, but what does it mean and how does it impact the communities I live in and stuff. And so, um, after doing my research and really finding out the good that it does in the world and being on my own mission to leave a legacy and leave an impact in the world, it just kind of aligned with me between the legacy that St. Jude was leaving and giving me the opportunity to join an organization such as this and leave not only my legacy within the organization, but a legacy within the world. It just kind of matched up, right? And then the other side, even though we focus on pediatric cancer, I would venture to say everybody in this world at some point in time has been touched by cancer. And so for me, it was near and dear because my mother, who died years ago, died of cancer. And so while the research and the work that's done here would not have impacted her life and her battle, but to be able to work with it with children's early on so they can have a chance to live a full life it was a no-brainer for me.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Thanks for sharing your story too. Let the people know a little bit about St. Jude as far as you can say, the mission and um, when it was founded, whatever you feel is necessary to let the people who might not know what St. Jude is have heard it, but give them a synopsis of what St. Jude is.
So I'll say this. So St. Jude is such so we're three in one. So we're a research hospital, right? We're a nonprofit organization. we are a charity. But so what's our mission is really simple. It's finding cures, saving children. Bottom line, that's the mission of St. Jude. When St. Jude was founded by Danny Thomas 61 years ago now, right? So the survival cancer rate was 20% at the time. So 1 out of 5 children who were diagnosed with cancer lived during that time. Today, for the most common cancer that you see in pediatric or in kids, which is ALL, acute lymphoblastic leukemia, the survival rate is above 90%, right? So 4 in 5 live now. But the dream of the founder, Danny Thomas, was that, we go until no child dies in the dawn of life. No child dies from cancer. So until that rate is 100%. So that's known facts you get in the commercial, right? People that end up coming to St. Jude never receive a bill for food, treatment, or travel throughout their entire duration of time with St. Jude. And just to put that into perspective, the average cost of treatment for just one child is roughly around $205,000.
Man.
Right? So when you put that into perspective. Now, the other thing I'm going to put out there that a lot of people don't know, and I may be jumping, is why is St. Jude Children's Research Hospital located in Memphis? We only have one hospital, and it's right there in Memphis. And the reason it is there is because Danny Thomas was reading the newspaper, and he read about a little Black boy who died because he could not receive treatment in the South for his injuries. And so as he was going across the country building support to build this hospital, although it's focused on pediatric cancer and catastrophic diseases in children, he said, you know what, I'm going to put it in Memphis. I'm going to put it in the South, because regardless of race, creed, religion, gender, whatever, no child will be refused service at St. Jude. And that's why it's located in Memphis.
Makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. Thanks for breaking that down. And to get into, like, you shared your reasoning why you began working for St. Jude. Well, I guess one reason why I am in favor of St. Jude is because, one, I had a godbrother that passed in 2006 at the age of 8 years old. And what's crazy is, man, that, like, his birthday was the day before mine. So my sister had got married in October 2006 in Chicago on October 7th. And he was in Children's Hospital here in St. Louis, October 8th. He was in there for like a good 5, maybe 3, 4 months, maybe, leading up to that point for our birthdays. And his birthday was on that Sunday. And, he was asking, like, oh, where's Javon? Where's Javon? And, mom was like, oh, yeah, he's on the way down from Chicago. And we finally made it over to the hospital, like, around like 7, maybe 5, 6 p.m. or whatever. So stayed there like 3 hours, left around like 9, 10 p.m. So then I found this out later on that his mom, when midnight hit, of course, it was my birthday. So he wanted to call me to, tell me happy birthday. And she was like, well, he's asleep. Like, we gonna call him tomorrow. So then October 10th comes, like, literally, well, like the night of October night, probably going into like midnight. And he was like, we forgot to call Javon. And she was like, shoot, we sure did. And I think that, like, that next day is when, like, next day or two was when his battle really started failing from leukemia, because he had it for like a good two years. We, of course, had all these bone marrow drives. And at one point in time, we had found a donor, but then they backed out at the last minute. But no, from that point, like 2 weeks later, we was at his funeral. So that's why, I'm a real big advocate for what St. Jude does. And I appreciate all the work y'all do, for sure, Lathan.
Oh man, that's thank you for sharing that. And I will share. Give me one second. Can you still hear me?
I can hear you. You good?
Okay, give me one sec. Make sure I can hear you. But so the one thing that you may not know, or probably didn't know at the time though, is that, you know, the other thing about us is we share our research freely. And so uh, St. Louis Children's, Cardinal Glennon's, and just other hospitals across the world treat a lot of their patients with St. Jude protocols, right? So a lot of people don't realize that even though, you may not have directly been a patient of St. Jude, there's a high probability that the treatment you received was based off the research that was done and established and founded at St. Jude.
Hmm. Interesting. I mean, yeah, I definitely didn't know that for sure. And definitely appreciate, the statistics increasing over time so that, no child has to go through that or no family has to go bear it. That's one thing, man. Like, it's one thing to we both lost a parent, our moms. We thought it was difficult, but I think no parent should have to ever bury their child, and
Yeah,
that's a difficult thing to handle. And shout out to St. Jude for doing what they can to prevent that. Um, what was my next thought? You get me over here emotional, man. I'm trying to
man.
stop.
I was gonna say we gotta lighten the mood up a little bit.
Oh man. Oh man. Yeah. 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 Let me move forward, man. Um, but now rest in peace to my god brother Devin Ford. He would man. Let's see. So that was '06. How old would he be today? Quick math, Javon. Quick math. What year with this?
And he was how old in 2006?
He was 8, man. He was 8. So he would have been
So
26,
that's 17 years. So he would have been
25,
20,
25, 25 this year.
25.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Wow. Rest in peace, Gio, man. Um, but no, back into St. Jude and what you do with St. Jude. So, um, I hear you. I mean, you tell me you travel to Memphis a lot. So I assume down there is where you meet with specific donors, or tell me what your interaction is with St. Jude on behalf of St. Jude.
Sure. So my role, I actually get to have a unique role. Well, not a unique role, but I really enjoy so my role, I get to touch patient families, I get to touch donors, um, um, as well as our internal operations. So I oversee all of our operations and fundraising and awareness for the organization for the state of Missouri. And so, I get to interact with donors in Missouri, outside of Missouri, and then in Memphis. So I'll tell you, if you ever get a chance to, and this is for anybody, if you ever get a chance to go to Memphis and visit the campus, you know, there's nothing like it. It's like the magic when you step on that place and you see how the patients are and how they are when they're there. It's a different reality. So I go to Memphis not only just for donor meetings and things, but for internal meetings within the organization as well. So and we have various summits and things where we bring individuals and some of our partners and corporations to campus for them to see firsthand what their support is supporting.
Okay, man, you got a very important job.
Just a little bit,
you
just a little bit.
you gotta keep the money coming in for St. Jude. So make sure them lights stay on
Yeah, yeah. Make sure people can get the treatment and stuff they need.
for
Because
sure.
and again, not trying to go into that deep place, but it is like to your point, as a parent, and I didn't experience this, so but you know, I couldn't imagine the feeling of being told that phrase, your child has cancer. At that point, I don't care about anything else in the world except for making sure my child, focusing on my child. And that's part of what St. Jude does, right? So by not having to worry about those financial things, those other pieces, as a parent, you can do just that. You can focus on making sure your kid gets better.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Um, so it's my understanding that we've had like, well, St. Jude has had members of Black Greek letter organizations involved. I believe Paul Williams, who was an architect, is one.
Yeah, yeah. So, and I got to get my. So, Paul Williams actually designed the original design for St. Jude Hospital. He was tapped to do that. And if my memory serves me correctly, he is a member of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated.
Yeah, I believe that's correct. And then Dr. Rudolph Jackson is another, I
Yes.
believe.
So
Okay.
Dr. Rudolph Jackson was one of the first Black doctors at St. Jude, and he actually was responsible for one of the first grants that we received for research, which a lot of people don't know, which was for sickle cell, right? So St. Jude is also one of the largest um, uh, researchers and providers for sickle cell in the country as well. But a lot of people that's not as well known as what we're known at for from a
Yeah.
pediatric cancer standpoint. But yeah, so and Dr. Rudolph Jackson was, a member of the greatest fraternity, on earth, that black and old gold, Alpha
Too
Phi
cold,
Alpha.
too cold. Yes, indeed. No, when I found that out, I thought it was pretty amazing to see that members of the Divine Nine organizations are heavily rooted in St. Jude's history. So, shout out to those two individuals who have helped St. Jude grow into the organization it is today.
Yeah.
What are
And
some things? Go ahead.
no, I was gonna say, and I just gotta add, like, we talked about those two, but I would be remiss if I didn't say or didn't talk about, you know, our national partnerships currently, right? So,
Yeah,
which we'll get to, but like with our walk run, you know, Sigma Gamma Rose have a national partnership. Like here in St. Louis, they were the top, D9 organization that raised funds last year for
yeah,
last year's walk. Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated has a national partnership with St. Jude. Kappa Alpha Psi has a national partnership. Alpha Phi Alpha has a national partnership. Um, I'm gonna say believe it or not, but Iota Phi Theta has a national partnership with St. Jude. So, the organizations are involved at all levels, right?
yeah.
Which is good.
Love. Yeah, definitely. I love to hear it. Love to see it. You mentioned a run walk. Let the people know what that is.
Yeah, so it's actually funny. So the walk run, which is going to be in St. Louis here on September 9th at 8 a.m. at Ballpark Village, it's one of our largest and most uh, diverse events that we have. Uh, and it's an opportunity where we gather all individuals from the community from all walks of life to come down to join us and participate in the walk run. And the beauty of or the significance of it being in September, and while St. Louis is the first to kick off in the country for the walk runs this year for St. Jude, September is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. And so that's why our walks um, are in St. Louis, right? I mean, not are in September. The other
Yeah.
side of it is that another little piece of tidbit fact is that the walk run for St. Jude, that is now a national program, also started here in St. Louis. It started out as a mall walk on the inside and has grown since. Right?
Wow. That's
Yeah.
amazing. That is dope. Um, how do you know how long it's been happening?
So if memory serves me correctly, and the only thing when you talk of when you state facts on these here internets is that it's there forever. So if you wrong, but no, I believe the first one occurred in 1997. So that means that
Gotcha.
it's been going on for about 26 years.
Okay. Gotcha. That's what's up. That's what's up. Um, do you want to reveal why you're here? or should I?
You go ahead and do it, and then
Okay, all right, all
you
right,
do
all
it, you
right.
do it,
I'll
you
do
do
it.
it.
All right, I'll do it. So yeah, the reason why Lathan is here to speak on behalf of St. Jude is because Prophytes Be Like will be raising money for the St. Jude walk run he just mentioned here in St. Louis. So what I will be doing is I have a personal link that will raise money for St. Jude to, of course, go for everything that St. Jude needs to use it for. I believe there's a list of stuff like where like this amount of money helps for the child's food per day, and this amount helps for research or whatever the case may be. So, Prophytes Be Like has joined to begin to be a supporter of St. Jude from a financial aspect. So I will be sending out a link if you are interested in donating toward the cause. Now, if you're in St. Louis, you can join us on September 9th at 8 a.m. in Ballpark Village by also signing up under my link so we can run or walk as a team. So yeah, just wanted to let it be known that Prophytes Be Like is a big supporter of St. Jude and will be helping raising money. So
Absolutely. So let me, because you said, you will be, and I gotta give you a shout out for it. So, you've already hit the ground running, right? So even with without a major announcement, Prophytes Be Like has already, reached almost, a third of the goal that you set so far. And what really for me brings this full circle is that this is when you think about the unity or you think about the purpose of the creation of our divine nine organizations, and when I think about Prophytes Be Like, you know you're bringing everyone together for a common cause, right? And that's what is beautiful for me, because whether people can participate, whether they can't participate, whether they donate $1, $10, or $100, it all makes a difference, and it's greatly appreciated.
definitely, definitely. You know, I shared my story. I don't want to repeat it again. You gonna
Yeah,
have me crying on my podcast and stuff, dog. I can't be having that. But no, like I said, I like what St. Jude is doing, and I'm definitely here to support any way I can. And hopefully, the people listening or watching will as well. And like Lathan said, really, all I'm asking for is at least $1. Now, I've seen most people who have donated like their founding date. So, like, I've seen somebody donate $19.08 or $19.20. You can do it that way. All I'm asking for is $1 if you are watching or listening to this podcast, and the link to donate will be attached to this episode as well. So, um, appreciate those who are donating in advance, and appreciate those who have donated thus far. So, yeah, Profiles Be Like is a official supporter of St. Jude Research. So, one day maybe we'll be doing a podcast down there in Memphis one day at on a facility. Who knows? We don't know where this will go, but
that would be
no,
awesome. That would be
yeah,
awesome.
definitely will. Definitely will. But no, shout out to you, Lathan, for joining me. You got anything else you wanna say to the people before
Man,
we conclude?
so one thing I would tell you, it's dangerous to give me a mic or a virtual mic and a captive audience, but but I'll say this. So I'm gonna ask you, given your tenure, the fact that you had the foresight to start Prophytes Be Like and all this, I gotta ask you, give me one. I ain't gonna make you say the, because it can be hard. Give me one of your favorite alpha memories.
One of my favorite alpha memories,
Yeah.
other than crossing, of course, my probate. I feel like that's always up there. But another favorite alpha memory would be going to I don't know if you ever heard of Dance Explosion,
Yeah.
that East Side Bros used to throw. Our very first, what was it? I forget which one. I think it was our first Dance Explosion went to after we crossed, going down there. I think that was a good memory. Like,
Yes.
because when Eastside they threw it. And, like, of course, all the chapters in Missouri coming down there. Like, literally everybody's going down to Rolla for these to see these dance teams, and of course the after party. And of course, with it being an alpha event, um, it was just even more turned. Like, and to see, like for me, like in the state of Missouri, I got a lot of sands that cross fall 12, like all across the state, and
Yeah.
we was together like all the time, like talk to each other all the time, and we all came. Literally, most of us was down there for that, and of course we neos, we like what 3, 4, 5 months in. So just to be around all of them, as well as, having a good time, I think that was definitely a good memory for sure. And my first regionals in Cincinnati, that was a good time in 2013. My
Yep.
first nationals in Vegas in 2019 was a good time. It's a lot, man.
Oh, Vegas
I've
was, yeah, it was
yeah,
hot. It was
yeah,
hot. I was in Vegas, but yeah, that was good. That was a good convention.
yeah,
Okay.
definitely for sure. What about you? What's your favorite alpha memory?
Man, so I knew when I asked you that off the cuff, and you was gonna fire it back at me. I would say, similar to you, I got a lot of them, but for me, I've had the opportunity um, to sit down and have just a conversation with three at the same time, three past general presidents
Wow,
and a historian, right? And just to learn about not only Alpha history, but American history and Black history and things that I didn't know and how it integrated and kind of how it's all interwoven. That was a powerful moment for me. So that was one of those memories that it's like I'll never forget, right? So yeah.
that's what's up. That's so dope. Yeah, I haven't met too well, I'll take that back. Yes, I have. Um I met well, I've had Cruisen on the podcast before, and he was an interim president. But then I also met Tillman. He came to this was when I was in DEL, when the Mike Brown situation happened. He came to the DEL house and spoke too. So
Yeah,
um definitely experience meeting, general presidents, historians, anybody who's like, stamped in alpha for the work that they've done. Um, and yeah, that's just the true spirit of the fraternity, as we say. So
absolutely. So
yeah.
I appreciate you having me. I don't know if we're done, but if not, I'm trying to. I won't yell it too loud in the office so people don't, come look at me and look at like what the hell is going on, this man. But I can't lead a podcast
Uh-oh.
out, giving you
Fix
a
my
good
mic.
old 111119.
Oh, six.
There we go.
All right. I knew it was coming. I was like, let me fix my mic. I know it's I know he was finna chat. I knew it was coming. I thought it was gonna happen at the beginning, but you saved it for the end. That's
Yeah,
cool. That's cool. No, appreciate you, Lathan. Appreciate you coming. And shout out to all of you who are listening and are watching. This is episode 2 of the Prophytes Be Like podcast. The St. Jude edition is what we're gonna call it. Um, as always, make sure y'all follow at Prophytes Be Like on everything, at PBO Podcast on Instagram, and make sure y'all donate at least $1 to this cause. Um, thank you, Lathan, for coming on to speak on behalf of St. Jude. This is the Prophytes Be Like podcast, episode 42, and we out of here.